as we wrap up the summer and head into the later parts of 2024, it is readily apparent that the Bay Area housing market is in a bit of a slump, at least compared to where we were at the beginning of 2024. In fact, just this week, I myself saw several news outlets, including CBS 5, reporting that the Bay Area is in a bit of a housing slump right now. Now, my problem with this type of reporting is that it's not all doom and gloom, and a lot of these news outlets like to make it look black and white. But today we're going to dive deep into the data to show you exactly which home buyers and home sellers are in advantageous positions and which home buyers and sellers are not so much in an advantageous position. Coming up on this Silicon Valley Snapshot. Now, one of the bigger issues with reporting in general is that we tend to give high-level numbers and we tend to give a general overview of the market. And I'm guilty of this as well. Most of my snapshots are looking at the numbers as a whole across any given county, right? Whether it be Santa Clara County or whether it be San Mateo, Alameda, Contra Costa, and so on and so forth. And so what we are going to do today is really dissect the numbers and look at the different asset classes or the different property types within each county. Because really, if the market is softening right now, it's not softening equally across all different property types. For example, single families versus condos and townhomes. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in today's video. But before we get into that data, before we really get granular, if you're a home buyer in today's marketplace and you're looking for a comprehensive data set to assist you in your home buying decision making, you can text the word data plus the neighborhood or the area or the zip code that you're looking in, and we will get that information sent straight to your inbox. And if you're a home seller and you're looking for a reliable resource to help guide your decision making, whether you should be selling right now, should I wait till the spring, where should I price my property at, what kind of upgrade should I make, all of those questions will be answered when you text the word data plus your property address to the number down below. Now, 2 weeks ago, I published a video with this data in front of you right here, and we noticed that here in Silicon Valley, in Santa Clara County, really, we saw in the summer, in June, we started to see a shift in the market, and we saw pendings were outpacing supply for basically the entirety of 2024. And then we get to June. And then all of a sudden now in June, we're seeing supply outpacing pendings. We had 1,278 homes on the market and only 1,012 homes pending. Now, this ebbs and flows all the time here in Santa Clara County. For the majority of my 10-year career, that's scary just to say, for the majority of my 10 years in real estate here in Santa Clara County, more often than not, we see pendings outpacing supply. And to see supply outpacing pendings tells me that the market is softer than we are used to seeing. And that trend continued in July. While we started to see that delta kind of shrink a little bit, we are definitely in a more advantageous market right now for buyers than we are accustomed to seeing in Santa Clara County. Now, does that mean that we are in a 100% buyer's market? Absolutely not. In fact, I would say that this is a very healthy market. And if you look at real estate markets across the country, most sellers would kill to have these kinds of numbers, to have this kind of absorption rate in the marketplace. And when I say absorption rate, you can go back and look at a bunch of videos that I've made about this, but absorption rate really just simply is how much of the current inventory is getting absorbed. And you can measure that by pendings or solds, but in this case, we'll do pending absorption rate divided by the active inventory. And so, rough math here, 976 divided by 1,163. I'll do the actual math. Hold on a second. 976 divided by 11.3. 84% absorption rate, which is a phenomenal absorption rate. Anything above a 33.3% absorption rate is considered a seller's market. So we are very much in a healthy market here in Santa Clara County. We're not anywhere close to being in a buyer's market per se, but it is more buyer friendly than we are accustomed to seeing. However, I would say that this becomes even more apparent when we pull out the single family data and look at that versus the condo and townhome data. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So looking at the single family data, we have 741 homes active on the market in July, 693 homes pending. So that absorption rate tightens up even more. Now, we are definitely still in a market and we're seeing active inventory outpacing pending sales in June and July. So that same trend still exists, just at a smaller scale and a much tighter delta there between inventory levels and pending inventory. And that's a good thing for sellers here in the single family sector. Now, we'll get into the condos and townhomes in a second, because if you can do basic math, you'll understand that condos and townhomes are not doing as well. But as you can see here, This is why it's really important to not just feed into what the media is telling you at face value and saying like, oh my gosh, it's a buyer's market, and oh my gosh, the market's crashing. It's like, actually not really. Looking at this data, still a very healthy market if you are a single family home seller. And this is why even in my other videos, I definitely caution everyone to reach out to me and get a personalized analysis, customized analysis for their particular property, because based on the zip code or the area that you're in, everything can change, right? And so in certain zip codes right now in Santa Clara County, the market's on fire. You know, we have way more pending sales than active inventory. And so if you're in a market that fits that mold, that fits that bucket, then like now is still a very good time to sell. And even if active inventory is slightly outpacing pending sales, chances are it's still a really good time to sell if you own a single family home here in Santa Clara County. And by the way, I wouldn't say good time to sell in terms of like overall market conditions. Does that mean that you're going to set the community record for the highest sales price ever? Like, absolutely not. That ship sailed 2 years ago. And it's going to be probably a hot second before we get back up to some of those top tier prices that we got at the beginning of 2022 before rates went up. Now, comparing this to condos and townhomes in Santa Clara County, we see 420 homes active on the market, 283 homes pending. Now, this is a much greater delta between active inventory and pending sales, and the absorption rate is also lower. And so I use this as an example to show the importance of really partitioning out or segmenting out the different property types to really analyze and see, okay, what are the market conditions for my specific property? Because if we partition even condos and townhomes, right? Because some of these are going to be condominiums and some of these are going to be townhomes or townhome style condominiums, which is basically condominium ownership, but it still looks like a townhome. In fact, the majority of townhomes in the Bay Area are actually condos, PUDs, townhome style condos. But as to not confuse you, if we just segment out condos and townhomes, you know, like apartment style versus townhome style homes, you would see even more drastic difference where townhomes would be outperforming condos, or townhome style would be outperforming condos. And so it's important to just understand that every asset class or every property type has its own unique situation, and just looking at the macro data sometimes isn't enough to really assess your particular situation. And so this is what I want everyone to understand, that if you are a home buyer for a single family home in Santa Clara County right now, it is not a buyer's market. You know, any way that you slice it, chances are you're going to be in a multiple offer situation still to this day. You are going to be in a situation that is going to require you likely to go over list price, and you are probably going to be in a competitive situation, right? And if you are buying a condo, then you might be in a situation where you're buying something that's been on the market for 15 to 30 to 45 to 60 days. And so these are the differences, right? So it's not a one size fits all answer. There's multiple answers across a multitude of different variables: property type, area, price range. You know, these are all things that factor in to the market conditions. And the market conditions for your specific situation. As a side note, I've made it my mission for the last 10 years to deliver exceptional service, to deliver this kind of analysis for every one of my clients, whether you're a home buyer or you're a home seller. We have an in-depth conversation as to your specific situation and really come up with a plan of attack. Whether you're a home buyer or a home seller, we need to have a strategy. And that's exactly what I've been able to do over the last 10 years with my clients. And so if this is something that you are interested in talking more about with me one-on-one, you can text the number down below. Let me know that you are interested in setting a time to have a conversation. And it's no strings attached, you know, let's see if it makes sense for you, for me. But this is what I do all day. This is what I've done all day for like the last 10 years. And I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about your situation and come up with a plan of attack so that we either get you the best home at the best price possible, or if you are selling a home, get you the highest possible price, which is ultimately, I know what you want. And I've helped hundreds now of clients, and you can look us up on Google, over 275-star reviews on Google and counting. And it's been a blast these last 10 years, and I'm looking forward to doing it for longer. So anyways, I digress. Let's move on to the last part. What I did here was I combined, we're not going to cover San Mateo County today, but we are going to cover the East Bay combined. So we combined the Contra Costa and Alameda data, reason being almost identical data sets. And so we're basically just multiplying by 2 and looking at these areas combined. And so if you see the numbers combined, it's quite startling. We have almost like a little bit above a 50% absorption rate here in July of 2024, 2,729 active homes and 1,582 homes pending. Now, if we look at single family, it's kind of the same story, right? We start to see that delta decrease here when we're looking at just single family homes. Now, not as strong, not as competitive as it is in Santa Clara County, 1,846 homes active on the market versus 1,226 homes pending in July, versus the condo and townhome situation where we're seeing 356 homes pending and 883 homes active on the market. So that absorption rate in the condo and townhome sector in Alameda County is teetering towards a neutral market, which would be 33.3%. Right now, across the East Bay, we're seeing about a 40% absorption rate in those markets for the condo and townhome sector. My analysis of the East Bay is slightly different than my analysis of Santa Clara County. The data in Santa Clara County is strong enough to show us that, like, more often than not, you are going to be in a tricky situation as a buyer in the single family sector and maybe have a little bit more leverage if you're buying a condo, especially, or a townhome maybe. Here in Contra Costa and Alameda County, obviously, it's area specific and dependent. The strongest cities in the East Bay, namely Fremont, places like Pleasanton, Danville area, some of these areas, Piedmont maybe, some of the Oakland Hills, right? Those areas tend to be the areas, especially with the stronger school districts in the East Bay, tend to be the exception to the rule. But if you look at this data, what this shows is that in the single family world, if you're a home buyer right now, chances are you are going to have maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 competitors, or you might be in a situation where the home's been on the market for about 30 days. And so the data isn't strong enough to support like a consistent multiple offer situation, at least not as consistent in Santa Clara County. And there's definitely parts of the East Bay where you're going to see tons of multiple offers still. But what this data is showing is that there's definitely opportunity there in the East Bay that has not been there for quite some time. And herein lies my message, is that there are so many buyers that I've spoken to over the last decade that will tell me that they're waiting for prices to come down. They're waiting for less competition, right? That's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're seeing prices have come down and we're seeing less competition. But now there's a whole set of other excuses. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with the economy, and we don't like the interest rates right now. And it's like, well, why do you think prices have come down and there's less competition? Because there's uncertainty in the market. And so what you're looking for as a buyer will never exist, which are perfect conditions, right? You're never going to have low rates, no competition, lower prices, right? These things don't exist. And so you have to pick your poison. Do you want to compete against 20 other buyers, which about 2 years ago in these marketplaces, we were seeing 20 to 30 offers on every house in the East Bay practically, right? And so you either pick your poison. Do you want to compete against 20 to 30 buyers, pay $200,000 to $300,000 over list price? Or do you want to buy a home with slightly higher rates in a time where, hey, the economy isn't super certain. I don't really know what's going to happen. We got the election coming up. We've got political uncertainty across the globe, really. So there's a lot of reasons why a lot of excuses why people don't want to buy right now. But quite frankly, that's your only other option, is to buy in times of uncertainty, because you either get great terms or you get great price, right? So great terms meaning great rates, right? Thriving economy, right? Well, guess what? You're going to pay the price. Oh, you want a lower price, less competition? Well, that means you're going to have to assume the risk associated with buying in a time like this. For sellers in Contra Costa and Alameda County, if you're selling a condo or a townhome right now, you have seen better days. And so my recommendation would be like, probably hold on to it. Now, every area, like I said, is different. There's pockets of different cities in the East Bay where a condo and townhome still getting multiple offers, right? And so this is not a one size fits all piece of advice. This is simply a broad macro analysis of what we're seeing in the marketplace as a whole. And again, if you're interested in a more detailed or in-depth analysis, you can text the word data plus the area, the zip code, or the property address that you're interested in, or you can just shoot me a text at this number down below, and I'll be sure to respond to you and get something set up to where we can actually have an in-depth conversation about your particular situation. That's it for this video, everyone. If you've made it this far in the video and you are not yet subscribed to this channel, what on earth are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to get notified every single time we post a new video just like this one. And while you're at it, give me a thumbs up. It costs you nothing and it really helps hit the message and spread the word and get this video in front of more buyers, sellers just like you. This is Danny Gould, everyone. I am selling Silicon Valley, and I will catch all of you in the next video.